You want to start investing, you know you probably should, but you feel like you lack enough knowledge to get going. This is completely normal. 4 in 10 haven't started for one simple reason. They're confused and scared. So if the idea of putting money into something that can lose value makes you wince, then watch this video and don't buy a brand new car. Today, I'm going to talk about one type of investment product that was designed with exactly this feeling in mind. By the end of this video, you'll understand what it is, how it works, how it compares with a broad market index, and most importantly, whether it's your cup of tea.
Gosh, that's pleasant.
Hi, I'm Matt. I worked in finance in London for 15 years and I hold a Chartered Financial Analyst qualification. Right, let's go. Before we talk about low volatility, we need to understand what volatility is. A lot of people just look at the returns of an investment and they don't consider its risk. Some people just assume the risk is the same across the board, but it isn't. And there is a massive difference between Coca-Cola and Tesla. Volatility is how much a stock's price moves up and down. High volatility means big price swings, which can be exciting but deadly. And low volatility means smaller swings, which can be considered boring but far less stressful. It happens that ordinary investors consistently underperform the very funds they're invested in because they hesitate for ages before actually jumping in and then sell when the shit hits the fan. And volatility is the trigger. Full disclosure, I've done that before. So how do you actually measure it? Using this guy. This is what's under the bonnet. Looks like NASA came up with it, but fear not. All you need to know is the lower the number, the less choppy a stock's price. Now, I'm assuming you know what an ETF is, a basket of stocks. And if that doesn't ring a bell, I've done a whole video on it. Link above. A low volatility ETF screens stocks specifically for ones that historically had calmer price behaviour than other stocks. Take the S&P 500. 500 large US companies considered the health barometer of the US economy. Run a filter and select those that had the smallest daily price movements, up or down, over the past year. Done. What you typically end up with are companies in defensive sectors, such as utilities, healthcare, consumer staples. Regardless of what happens to the economy, people still need electricity, medicine, and no doubt for some, fizzy drinks. Low vol is a strategy intended to be less dramatic, potentially more sustainable if you know yourself well enough to admit that big price swings may make you take regrettable actions. Selling here. Sounds great, you're thinking, but your money is still at risk. Low vol funds don't mean you won't lose any money at all. They just mean that you may not lose as much money as the main indices in a downturn. Let's look at a real-world example. State Street's SPDR S&P 500 Low Volatility UCITS ETF. Blah, blah, blah. What a mouthful, eh? It holds 100 least volatile stocks from the S&P 500. Link to its fact sheet in the description below. Okay, here is a table of 3 historical market events. Note, these returns relate to the closing prices of the dates given. The dates selected represent Invesco's S&P 500 ETFs high and low hitting days respectively. Basically, I'm taking peak to trough prices. The worst case scenarios if you'd bought and sold on these dates, which is unlikely, but let's roll with it for now. COVID shown here doesn't exactly make my case, but I won't cherry pick. I will say that COVID was pretty much horrendous across the board, and even though this particular low vol ETF lost more, it wasn't by much. The 2002 Russian invasion of Ukraine and Trump's tariff announcements has significant impacts on the market, but in comparison, the low vol ETF only lost half that of the broader market in 2022 and a third of that early in 2025. Basically, during the Russian invasion, for every $2 lost in the S&P 500, only 1 was lost in its low vol equivalent. And for every 3 lost during the tariff announcements, only $1 was lost in the low vol ETF. That's worth a look, surely. Quick aside, please consider subscribing if you find this information helpful. It really means a lot to me, and it lets both me and YouTube know that you're getting value. Thanks so much. Now, if you're from the UK and you're invested in pounds, you wouldn't have made these returns here as they're in USD. If you're not sure what that means, I'm happy to do another video on how currency exchange rates affects returns on your foreign investments. Just let me know in the comments below. Regardless, the same outcome occurs. Low vol drops less than the main market for the bottom 2 scenarios. There is a trade-off though. In a roaring bull market, when everything's going up, Low vol funds will typically lag behind the main market, i.e., you won't make as much money during the good times. They try to avoid high-flying, high-risk names that lead bull market rallies. So when markets are charging, you will likely make less money. Now, that may well be an acceptable trade-off for you. Make less, but lose less. And losing less matters more than most people realise. Here's a question for you. If you bought a stock and it immediately dropped 50%, that would be quite gutting, but it does happen. What percentage does that stock need to increase by in order to get back to where it was? If you answered 50%, you're wrong. It's 100%. Yes, it needs to double in price for you to break even. And how quickly does it take for a stock price to double?
Well, that depends on the stock, Carol.
All right, smartass, but it takes a damn sight longer to go up than it does to drop. There's a saying in the industry that stock prices go up the stairs and out the window. And that's why avoiding big losses, even at the cost of some upside, can actually produce better real-world outcomes for investors who'd otherwise panic and sell. Does that sound like you? So who may suit investing in low volatility ETFs? Before I answer, my channel is educational and I'm here to provide insight and promote considerations for your own research. If in doubt, seek independent financial advice. So, who may they suit? Well, first-time investors, perhaps like yourself, who want to start but are scared of big daily price swings or investing right before they think a crash is going to happen. That fear stops a lot of people. A lower volatility entry doesn't eliminate that risk. You'll still lose money, but potentially less of it. Also, people closer to retirement who can't afford to take a 40% hit and wait for years for it to recover. At that stage, protecting what you've built matters more than chasing maximum growth, as well as anyone who thinks they'd sell if the market drops 20+%. Knowing that about yourself and building around it is smart investing. Ignoring it is how people make their worst financial decisions. And believe me, I'm not immune. I've done it before. Low vol ETFs are a tool, and the right tool depends on the job. The biggest financial risk for a hesitant investor isn't volatility. It's doing absolutely nothing. As I've said in many videos already, hoarding cash alone throughout your life gradually makes you poorer. Cash does a fantastic job in market crashes and downturns, but over the long term, it's a terrible investment. While you sit on the fence waiting for the perfect moment, inflation is quietly stealing your savings. Since the height of the pandemic in March 20, the purchasing power of your money has dropped by almost a quarter, meaning if you stuck your savings under a mattress, you're now 20% poorer than you were in 2020. Whereas the person who started investing 6 years ago, even in the low volatility fund mentioned earlier, that doesn't go up as much in bull markets, is now 40% richer than they were in 2020. Low volatility ETFs are not going to make you rich overnight, but they may well be the gateway that gets you started and keeps you invested until your confidence grows. If you feel they're good for you and you want to get started, take a look at my walkthrough on an easy-to-use app for buying stocks and ETFs. I have absolutely no affiliation. I'll see you in the next one.